Artlist has officially joined the AI film studio party with Artlist Studio. But that doesn't mean that the studio is without its flaws. It's still in beta, and I'm gonna share all the things that I like about it and where it needs work. Now, before we dive into it, yes, Artlist is sponsoring this video, but as always, if it sucks, I'm gonna tell you it sucks. And if you appreciate that, comment real down in the comments so that sponsors know that you appreciate that I'm always honest with you guys. Okay, so what is Artlist Studio? And this is basically just like a new user interface designed to streamline the AI video creation process and make it more film production-like. So we're on Artlist's website, and up here at the top, we've got a new studio button. This takes you to a brief overview, and if you hit this button right here, it will actually launch a new site with a whole new UI. Like everything that Artlist does, I think that this UI looks incredible. It's very polished, but it's not without its drawbacks, which we'll get to in a minute. The main workflow centers around the two major steps of AI video creation: start frame generation in the framing tab and video generation in the directing tab. Starting with framing, up here near the top of the prompt box, you can add recurring characters to your images. Artlist has a bunch built in to choose from here, but of course you can also create your own, so let's give that a shot. I want a Boy Scout character that's like a little heavier set, so I just entered this prompt. You can generate up to 10 variations, but that seems a little bit excessive, so we'll start with 4 and see how that goes. I mean, each one of these would be usable to me, but I think I like this one best, so let's create a character from him. On his character page, you can complete the character by generating angles for the image gen models to reference later. These look pretty good, except it did mess up the color of his shirt in this one close-up, and the color of these little shoulder straps. This rear image has them as red, while the original has them as like a green. Now, I know that these are small things to nitpick on, but character consistency is one of those things that's really holding AI video production back these days, and small errors like this matter. You can correct some things and change the character by editing it with an AI prompt box down here at the bottom. Like, I wanted to change this kid's bandana to yellow from red, but this resets your angles as well. So those now need to be generated again, and unfortunately it seems like editing is only possible for the main character image. This is a problem because you can see that the AI added an extra scouting logo to his hat in this close-up, but there's no way to simply edit this off of the close-up image, or even just regenerate the angles themselves. To get new angles, you need to edit the main image itself, which is just kind of like a cumbersome workaround, and costs too many credits when all I wanted to do was do like a little change on the one angle that it gave me. By the way, the bandana should be under the collar here too, but I digress. This is a great character creation workflow, and it is my favorite character creation tool out of all the ones that I've tested so far, because you can give characters consistent voices over here, and like, yes, you can generate non-human characters too. I would just love to see those little editing quality of life changes implemented here. Now let's dive into image creation with our characters. We can select them and add them to the scene, then design our own location or use one of Artlist's pre-designed locations as the setting. I like this supermarket, so we'll select that. Now I'm gonna type in my prompt just using the @ tag to reference our characters, and then enhance it with Artlist's enhance feature. At the bottom of the prompt box, we can select camera angles. I'm gonna go with low, and then set the shot framing to medium and the lighting to natural. Now at the very top, we can adjust even more technical settings, including the AI model that we want to use. I love that Artlist is being transparent about what AI model they're using to generate these images, and even allows you to choose which one you want to use. This level of transparency and control with the AI generations is really important to me. They also have resolution options, different aspect ratios to choose from, and cinematic camera and lens styles. We're gonna test to see if all of these settings actually make a difference on the image output, but first I've got a couple notes here. Firstly, it would be great to have a 21:9 aspect ratio option for the image generation, because a lot of movies are shot at 21:9, and Seedance 2.0 even has a 21:9 output. As far as the camera choices go, these are good, but I would really like to see a film camera in here because all we have right now is digital. It's cool that they have the actual brand names for the cameras and the lenses. These are really well-known pieces of gear within the film industry, but a lot of people using this tool aren't gonna have film industry knowledge, so they're not gonna know the difference between an Arri Alexa and a Red, let alone a Sigma versus a Cooke lens. Heck, it confuses me, and I have more cinematography knowledge than the average person. It would be great if each piece of gear had a little info button that I could hover over, and it would reveal the effect that that camera or lens is supposed to put on the reference image. Anyway, to bring myself back from that little tangent, I do just have a simple text image prompt here, and Artlist has a new structured prompt box where you can fill in things like subjects and actions and compositions separately. But honestly, I just find it way easier to write in freeform or to copy and paste an optimized prompt from like ChatGPT in the freeform area. For this image, I'm going to use Nano Banana Pro with an Airy Alexa and Cook for our image, and we'll generate a couple of iterations of this because it says that using multiple characters could mess up the character consistency. And sure enough, the first image looks amazing. The characters and the location, they both look perfect. But the second image is all off. Now I'm gonna try it again with the Helios lens and camcorder. Let's see if that gives it a different look. No, this is pretty much a fail all around. The characters look bad and there's no VHS look to the image or a Helios lens effect at all. For those of you who don't know, Helios lenses are supposed to have like crazy warping around the edges. To test these camera settings even further, I created a new image of this FBI agent at a beach sipping on a pina colada. After generating a bunch of different images with different angles, styles, and lighting, I got some mixed results. The AI followed the shot type well all the time. These are overheads, these are close-ups, and the lighting matched the prompts really well too. Here's blue hour, golden hour, rim light, and volumetric light. The camera angle settings were sort of consistent, like I got a Dutch angle 2 out of the 3 times that I asked for. Camera and lens profiles were a little bit weirder though. I found that they were much more consistent when using Nano Banana 2 versus Nano Banana Pro, but the lighting rendering on Pro is way better than 2, so I still probably wouldn't trade that off. I'd still go with Pro. Anyway, here's an image with the VHS camera effect applied, and here's one that's supposed to be shot on anamorphic. It's got a little lens flare right here. The one lens that I could not for the life of me get this model to do is the Helios lens. I tried all sorts of different combinations on both Nano Banana Pro and Nano Banana 2, and it just would not give me that Helios look. Now, it's important to note that the hit or miss nature of a tool like this is very normal. Every other one that I've tried has been hit or miss. But you know, it'd be great if this would be perfect, right? Now that we've got our images, let's talk about video gen. Going from image to video is super easy. Just click here to use a generation as your start frame and then switch over to the director tab. I want to create a scene of this boy and the monster getting into trouble in the supermarket and making a break for it. So I typed in this prompt and selected Seedance 2.0 as my model. At the bottom, you can choose your duration and camera motion, which I'll test out in a bit. And at the top, you can technically still choose your camera gear, but I tried this and it seemed to have no effect on the video output whatsoever. So I imagine it's just a holdover from the UI of the image generation side. Unfortunately, Prompt Enhance didn't work for this input, so we're just gonna cross our fingers and hope that what I've written here is gonna give us a decent result.
Hey! Stop that! Split!
Not too shabby. If I want to create another shot, I can just click new shot down here and then go through the same process and generate a follow-up shot.
You got the catch, where's that spot had it?
You boys going somewhere?
This one I kind of had to fight the models on. I ended with 4 different iterations of it, and this is my favorite one. The only major thing wrong with this is that the monster grew a tail, which it doesn't have in the reference images. That said, it did give me Dale as the sheriff. This is a character from Artlist, and he was not in the start frame, so clearly the tagging works, at least most of the time. My 4th generation for this scene, which still had Dale tagged, didn't give me Dale as the sheriff, so just like anything, it can be hit or miss. Now we have these 2 scenes, and we can play them back together down here on this sort of timeline, which is cool, but it makes me want more editing capability over these scenes. You can rearrange shots in the timeline order, but there's no way to trim scenes shorter or even to just export them all together combined into one video clip. This timeline is purely for like preview purposes. But that's not the biggest thing that I need improved here, and we'll get to that, but first let's test out the camera controls. I animated this shot with a simple prompt and the orbit movement. Well, we do get some orbiting at the end, so it listened. The execution was just a little lacking. Then I gave it a chase scene with all auto controls but no start frame and only the FBI agent Johnny listed as a reference.
FBI,
It's over.
This shot looks pretty dang good. The only thing wrong with it is the reference image of Johnny has him wearing an all-black American flag hat, and then this shot has him wearing an all-black FBI hat. It's a very small difference, but it could be meaningful for you. Finally, to really put the camera movement setting to the test, I decided to take this prompt completely unchanged. It has built-in camera control instructions in the text, and I'm going to change the generator to POV mode. I want to see what it gives me and if the POV will override the built-in text camera controls.
FBI. It's over.
That was pretty crazy. I mean, does it look perfect? Heck no. It still feels kind of like an FPS video game, and it shows the badge the wrong way at the end. I also don't know what happened with the audio, but I think it's cool to see that the camera movement really plays a strong role in what your output video ends up being. Even with all these cool new controls, I'm left missing some really important things in Studio's video workflow. The higher end control features of the video models that it uses aren't available here. Kling 3 is special because it has multi-shot prompting. You can't do that here. Seedance 2.0 extends video clips with video references, and it can take audio references too, and you can't do that here in Studio either. You can use those with Seedance on Artlist's AI Toolkit page, so I don't know why they're not available here, but it just leaves me wanting more from the Studio. So Artlist Studio is a mixed bag. It definitely has great bones, but it needs some polishing before it moves out of beta. I'm genuinely excited to see where this thing goes though, and if we get an increase in those usable tools without changing the simplicity and beauty of the UI that they've designed, this has the potential to be my favorite AI video creation studio. I'll definitely keep you posted as updates roll out, and until then, check out this video up here. It's the one that I put Seedance 2.0 through a bunch of animation tests. It's one of my favorite tests, and I think you'll like it too.